Hello everyone, this is Dave, and I'm going to begin going through Toma Sensei's very long list of vocabulary. I think these vocabulary words are really going to help you with all aspects of your English. If you build a greater vocabulary, you'll be able to communicate and understand so much more. So let's take a look. I'll go through one page, just reading, and then I will give some further explanation of each word. So, provide, merchant, needle, fasten, mental, object, produce, progress, finished, oxygen, alive, own, recommend, diplomacy, rainfall, rise, admirable, structure, upstairs, observatory. Herbivore, exercise, lava, territory, imagine, usage, grain, adopt, invest, proposal, tool, vibration, previous, treatment, scissors, fireplace, folk, involve, poet, passenger. Excuse me. So these are all very interesting words, and let's take a closer look. Provide, provide. So we could say, who provides for your food and clothing? When you're an adult, you usually provide for your own clothing. When you're a child or a teenager or even a university student, your parents will frequently provide. It means to give to you or to make available to you. A merchant is someone who sells something. Someone who sells something. It's a little bit less common than it used to be. We used to refer to someone's job as a merchant, someone who owned a small shop. Now we still use it, but not as frequently as in the past. However, in America, if you get a receipt from a credit card, there will usually be two pieces of paper, and it will sometimes say customer copy and merchant copy. Needle, needle. A needle, of course, is a pointy piece of metal used to sew something. It can be used to sew clothing together. If it is a very special kind of needle, it could be a surgical needle, which is used if someone has a cut, a serious cut, and they need to sew it together. It can also be a verb in slang, to needle, which means to bother someone. If someone keeps bothering you, asking you the same question over and over again, we could say they are needling you. Fasten is to hold two things together. We could even say to hold fast. This button holds my shirt fast. It is difficult to fasten my top button because my neck is too thick. Fasten. Mental has to do with the mind. Mental exercise, for example, could be reading or doing mathematics. Anything to do with the mind. In British slang, someone will say mental for crazy. Someone might say, oh, he's mental. But that is a very British and perhaps Australasian, Australia and New Zealand and the region style of saying crazy. It's not nice to call anybody crazy, but people will if someone says something, very strange or unusual. Object. Object. Object is a thing, anything. A box of tissues, a button. Object. There's a very similar looking word that is pronounced very differently, which is object. If you strongly disagree with someone or something, we say you object to it. So I can't read the Japanese here, so there are two words this could be. I think it is produce. Produce, which means to make something, and then produce is also fruits and vegetables. In a supermarket, there will be the produce section. and those are um, fruits and vegetables produced by a farm. But yeah, I think it means produce. The pronunciation is so similar. Uh, produce, produce. But it's slightly different to a native speaker's ear. Um, progress. Progress means to go forward uh, um, or to have a situation where things are going forward. Progress. Um, Sometimes it's also pronounced progress, but we can talk about that later. Finished means something that is completed. Your high school education is finished. Oxygen is the element that we need to stay alive, which is our next word. Own means to possess something. Um, uh, yes, to own. We also say like your own. It's your own computer, your own uh, textbook. It means you're in possession of it. To recommend is like osusume, I think. To suggest that you like or accept something, or that you try something. Diplomacy is the act of negotiating things throughout without violence. Um, so a diplomat is someone who goes from one country to another country to try and make peaceful connections and peaceful arrangements with another country and the people of another country. Rainfall. Today, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, my window's closed, so never mind. Today, I guess it is May 21st, 2019, there is very heavy rainfall. It is raining very heavily now. Rise. The waters of the ocean might be rising, are most likely rising. I would say they are rising because of global warming. It means to go up. You will rise in proficiency. You will rise through the levels of ICLA's education, going from level 1 through level 3. If you work very hard, you might rise quickly and skip 1 or 2 levels as you go. Admirable means something that is admired, something that is worthy of appreciation. He had an admirable sense of fairness. Like the person was very fair and always tried to be fair, so we should honor him for it. Structure means the way that something is built. Upstairs is usually nigai or sankai, whichever whichever floor or level you're on. Anywhere above that would be upstairs. There was a famous British television program called Upstairs, Downstairs, which was about a wealthy family and the servants who served them. And the wealthy family lived upstairs, and the people who worked for them lived downstairs. And it was about culture clash and social level clashes. Observatory is a place where you can observe something, especially for astronomical things, things in space. For example, Professor Sanjay might go to an observatory to look at a comet or meteor shower. Herbivore is someone or something that eats plants. Exercise can be like taiso. It can also be some kind of practice worksheet that you're given, or a practice example that you're given. It is, please do this grammar exercise. I really like to exercise at the gym. Yeah. Sometimes we use it in a slang way. If someone is very troublesome and bothers you a lot, you might say, oh, I need to exercise my patience, like gama no suru, exercise my patience. Lava is the melted rock and metal, I guess, that comes from a volcano. I hope that Mount Fuji never erupts and shoots or spews lava. Territory is an area. Uh, some animals are territorial, like they will claim one area as their own. Some people are territorial. They say, "Who touched my tea? Someone came in here and touched my tea." You might say, "Oh, John is so territorial." Russia and Japan and China sometimes disagree about territory. Is this part of Japan? Is this part of Russia? Is this part of China? There can be some conflict based on who owns which area. Imagine. Imagine means to use your mental abilities to think of things that you do not see in front of you. Uh, Imaginary means something that is not real. Hogwarts is an imaginary school. Usage. Usage means the state of being used. The equipment in YGU's gym has experienced so much heavy usage over the years that it is quite old and in some cases broken usage. Um, we might say that usage of ICLA facilities are restricted to ICLA students and staff. Grain means a small portion of something, usually a long and thin portion, so we say a grain of rice. But we can also have a grain of sand, which could be a small piece as well, but not long and thin. Adopt means to take on the responsibility of something or to take on to take on the responsibility of something. So you can adopt a child and that child becomes your child even though they were not born of your family. You can adopt an attitude. Someone adopts an attitude of superiority. For example, say that a member of our class becomes a famous TV personality and maybe they suddenly become Tengu. And you say, "Oh, he or she has adopted this whole new personality. They have added it." You can adopt a new style to take on something. Investment means to put something of yourself into something else in the hopes that that thing will grow and become better. We have resources in our lives. We have mental resources, our intelligence. We have financial resources, our money or things we might own. And if we use those things and hope that they will grow and become better, we call this an investment. So we could say studying at ICLA is a good investment into your future because speaking English and other languages, understanding people from around the world, developing skills in diplomacy from interacting with so many different cultures will help you be successful in the future. Proposal is a suggestion or sometimes a request. So when a man or a woman asks someone to marry them, that's called a marriage proposal. If I ask someone in the class, or when you graduate and you become a successful business person, and I suggest, "Hey, let's make a business together. We'll have a weightlifting club and Yamanashi Peach combined business." That would be a business proposal. Business proposal. A tool is something you use to make or do something. English is a tool that can help you travel around the world. A screwdriver is a tool that can help you open or connect two things. It can help you fasten things together. A stapler is a tool that helps you fasten paper together. Vibration is a kind of shaking motion. If there's an earthquake, there will be some vibrations before, well, it is all vibration, but we can say there will be some slight vibrations before a big earthquake hits. If you stamp on a floor very hard, it will make the floor vibrate. Yeah. If you go underneath a train track when the train is going over, you can feel all of the vibrations in the air and the ground around you. Previous is something that came before. Treatment is something you do to usually to change or fix something. You can have a medical treatment. You can have uh, uh, what other kind of treatment? It's also the way that you can treat someone in terms of your attitude towards someone. If someone bullies someone else, you can say that they uh, were suffering. The person who was bullied was suffering from bullying treatment. Yeah. You should think about your treatment of other people. Scissors are a tool used for cutting things. We use this a lot because anything that goes like this is a scissoring motion. When you go to the gym, you might exercise your legs, especially if you're doing aerobics, in a scissoring motion. Yeah, your legs can work as scissors, your arms can work as scissors. A fireplace is a place where you build a fire within a home. Two of the homes I lived in had fireplaces. They were made out of red brick, and at Christmas time we would hang stockings and we would put a fire in the fireplace, and it would feel very pleasant and seasonal. Folk can have a couple of different meanings. It can be people, uh, like we say, hi folks, how are you? It means hi people, how are you? Folk can also mean old-fashioned traditions. We have folk tales, which could be like Momotaro. Uh, we have folk customs, like throwing the beans to make the demons go out in that special festival. Involve means to bring something into something else. So, for example, if your friends are not being diplomatic, if someone is being rude to someone else, uh, and they're trying to get other people to be rude as well, you could say they're involving other people, or this situation involves two countries or two people or two um, items, two things, two products. Um, yeah. Being a merchant involves having a great deal of diplomacy because sometimes a customer or other businesses that interact with you could be rude to you. Poet is someone who writes poetry. So far we have read about three poets. We've read about Percy Shelley, we have read about Robert Frost, and we have read about William Shakespeare. Actually, the order would be Robert Frost, then Percy Shelley, then William Shakespeare. And we didn't so much read about them as we read their poems. And a passenger is someone who rides on something or rides in something. Airplane passenger, car passenger, motorcycle passenger. It's the person who's not controlling that thing. So the person who's controlling a train is called a conductor. Anyone else who's in the train is usually a passenger. In the plane, it's a pilot. Anyone else would be a passenger. In a car, it's the driver. Anyone else would be a passenger. Motorcycle is kind of strange because we don't usually say driver. So we have the rider and passenger. But the passenger in that case is also a rider. So anyways, this video is longer than I thought. I hope I have gotten all of these words correctly. I can't read the Japanese, and sometimes there are various meanings for words, such as produce and produce, which sound almost exactly the same to non-native speakers. But I hope this helps, and I will make more soon. Thank you.